Good day, good day. It is October 8th of the year 2019. I just had to ask Sarah. Sarah, what year is it? You know,
2019.
2019.
I know that.
And what date is it?
Pretty sure it's the October 8th.
It's the 8th, yeah, because tomorrow is the 9th, right?
Yeah.
Tomorrow is the 9th. And yesterday was the 7th, we had guest speakers in class. Well, I'm your host, Dr. Peter K.B. St. Jean. I know some of you are joining us live on Facebook. Thank you for watching. And, you know, I started off this morning of a somber moment, Sarah. I got a call at 6 a.m. And the last surviving sister of my father died in Martinique. So
sorry to hear that.
I say, may her soul rest in peace. My aunt Anne Clara Saint Jean in Guadeloupe, sorry, not Martinique, and hopefully I'll be able to go pay respects to her. Well, we are here. I'm Dr. Peter K.B. St. Jean, Associate Professor and Chair of the Department of Sociology at North Park University, but also the founder and Executive Director of the Peaceful World Movement. And the Peaceful World Movement is one who's bringing you this show, the Shy Peace Show. Here, this is our third, is that our third show, second show?
Second show of this year.
Second show of 13, and next week we'll have Dr. Jack Surridge will be joining us, and after that we have some folks from the Bahamas, because we're helping to raise funds for the Bahamas, and then we'll tell you about our other shows. But today we have some great young guests with us. Our guests are always young since they're with us. But let me remind you that you're watching the show of the Peaceful World Movement. The Peaceful World Movement, you will see that it is... The Peaceful World Movement is at 11451 South Michigan Avenue, PO Box 206368, Chicago, Illinois. You can reach us at 716-603-0992. And our website is shypeace.net. We will be able to get on there in a minute and show you our website, shypeace.net. I'll do this in a little bit. But you see, we have those vibrant guests. All three of us are wearing spectacles. They say people who wear spectacles are very smart people.
Well, so then I guess we're all just really smart.
You guys are very smart. I better put mine on so I can look smart as well, right? Well, folks, Sarah McKay is the one that's usually in the back answering you with the courteous phone calls. But today we are not doing a call-in show. And Terrence House is her companion as a guest on the show. You know, during the break, I said the break before the show, because Sarah is a certified host. I said, Sarah, why don't you sit here and interview me? Sarah said sometime in the future, right? But, what, 5-6 weeks? Something like that. So, but Sarah and Terrence are here with me, and they wanted to know what we were going to talk about today. I told them something, but what I didn't tell them is that both of them are currently in my research methods class, and you guys are going to do an exam right now. I'm going to do a test. I'm going to see how well you studied.
Bring it on.
Bring it on. I like that. Well, you passed the test. Since you're ready to tell me to bring it on, it means you are confident that you'll get a pass. I won't bring it on because it seems that you're ready. But seriously, these are students here at North Park University. North Park University is a nonprofit organization in the north side of Chicago at 3525 West Forster Avenue in Chicago. And I want to introduce you to Sarah and Terrence, because sometimes we hear a lot of professors talk, and we do not oftentimes get the perspectives of students, and we want to know a few things about them. But I actually am curious to know some things about you outside of the classroom. So welcome, Sarah.
Thank you.
Welcome, Terrence.
Thank you.
So, Terrence, tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'll go. All
right.
So, as St. John has already stated, my name is Terrence. I attend North Park University. He want me to say what I do outside of class. So I am an active member of the Criminal Justice Club. I'm a vice president. My companion here is the president, as she will tell you. I also run track. Been doing that for 2 years now. 55 meters, 60 meters, 100 meters, 200 meters, and 400 meters. I used to play football, but no longer do I do that. But as you can see, I still represent. It's a great team. Anybody out there interested, then go and find out. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm from Chicago, west side of Chicago. And I identify as African American, and I have to embrace it. I'm pro-black.
Nice. All right. So Sarah, tell us a little bit about you, or a lot, whichever you choose.
Okay. My name is Sarah. I'm a junior at North Park University. This is my first full year as president of the Criminal Justice Club, but last semester was my first semester being the president. I grew up in St. Louis. I was raised there my whole life, and I just moved to Chicago for college. I came to the city.
Yes, oftentimes when we are in university, we try to attract students to come to the university, or we just try to advise students. A lot of times in Chicago, I work with a lot of people who try to help students to figure out how to choose a university to attend, right? Or to even consider whether or not they want to go to university, right? Because university is there for everyone, but not everyone is for the university, right? So it would be interesting to hear from you guys. How, first of all, did your parents prepare you, or how did you prepare yourself to even consider university as an option? And then second of all, you had many universities, not just in the United States, but in the world to go. How did you end up at North Park University? What about you? Tell us about your story in that regard, Sarah.
Yeah, so being from about 5 hours away from here, I didn't want to go anywhere in St. Louis because I had lived there my whole life. And so I wanted to experience something different. It's not super far, but just a different city and a different environment. I really wanted to be part of a Christian campus, and I knew that North Park is affiliated with the Evangelical Covenant. So I was really looking for that, and I didn't know what I wanted to major in before I started college. So I was looking for something not necessarily for academics. I was looking for something that had good reputations, that I liked the environment, and that I felt like I had good opportunity there. And so that's how I ended up at North Park.
Sarah, you're right about something, right? You said that when we came in here, you would be sitting in front of the sign.
I told you.
And I said, no, this is a green screen. There's no sign there. And maybe I shouldn't be telling the technical secrets, but last year there was a Shy Peace show sign back there. I'm like, don't worry about it, Sarah. There's no sign there. It's a green screen.
Wrong way.
So the Shy Peace show is actually here. This is the Shy Peace show. So now we are really using the green screen. Man, this is brilliant. This is fun, right? And we said earlier that we were going to show you our website, the Peaceful World website, and for those of you want to see Sarah's work, you go out to the Shy Peace show at the Peaceful World Movement, and we can see some shows from December last year, Provost Michael Emerson and others that were there, and pretty soon we'll be archiving our other shows there. So you went to shypeace.net, you'll be able to see the shows that we have. And Sarah did such a wonderful job that when you went up to the front, to the top of the page, if you want to look at the shows that we did in 2017, you will see that there. And as a matter of fact, what might be happening is that pretty soon we will have to archive the 2018 shows, and we're going to begin the 2019 shows. So you have 2017 and 2018 in archives, and then we will start having the show from the show we had last week with Dr. Gregor Tuswalder, the Dean of the College of Arts and Sciences at North Park University. Now, Terrence, how did you decide to go from the west side of Chicago? We know people, it has its reputation like the south side. There's the good, the bad, and the ugly. But how did you get to decide that you want to go to university? And second of all, how did you end up at North Park?
Well, thank you for asking, St. John. I have been structured, you can say, my whole life into going to college, From the youngest age I can remember to now, I've been told, you're going to go to school, you're going to go to school. And actually, funny story, once I graduated high school, it was the decision either to go to school or go to the military. And that was the first time I heard that. It was like, military, huh? But I ended up going to university because I feel like it fits me more. And the reason I came to North Park, not because of the state institution as such as like an ISU or a different school, but rather it was a smaller campus where I could feel at home at, I feel like I like big schools. I don't tend to do well in. Rather, small schools, you can get better along with the professors and the students around you because it's a very good environment. You can know everybody and have a chance to grow as a person. Whereas you can get lost in like big schools and you don't really know who you are. And I feel like North Park University can prepare you to know like who you are and what do you want to do, and they're so patient, and you find out who you want to be and who you want to be like around. And I feel like that was one of the big reasons I came to North Pratt University. Also, it's a beautiful campus. So
yeah, you know, and today I was talking to someone on campus, a professor, and you know, I teach in a program called Crux. It's I don't know what Crux means, Christian something maybe, because it's a Christian cohort of students who come in. And sorry, Brad, I forgot what Crux means, man. You know, sorry, dude, you got to remind me, right? I'm not even sure if I ever knew in the first time. I need to find out what Crux means.
I'm not sure.
And it may not mean anything, right? You know, it may just be, but I think it's an acronym for something. But I teach students, you know, freshman intro to sociology classes. And, you know, the students, I put them through some exercises because they're 17 and 18 years old. And you guys know from taking classes with me that I might show up and they might be so surprised. Last class, I had them, I don't know if I ever did that with your classes. Maybe if I haven't, maybe I will. So tell me if I did this in your class, right? There's so many different classes. So I had them draw. I split the class in two. I had 1, 2, 1, 2, and I sent a set of students outside. And then I had the others draw something. I said, draw the most beautiful thing that you want to draw that's most valuable to you. The thing that's most valuable to you, the best drawing that you can have. And then while they were drawing that, I took the other students outside and I said, when you go back inside, I want you to watch the drawing for a little bit, and I want you to degrade it. Degrade it in the biggest sense. Say, oh, you could do better, whatever. And then tear it up, throw it in a try, you know, whatever, right? So the students were like, you know, they don't know. Did I do that in your class?
No, we didn't do that. We did an exercise with, I think, Legos, where we built like a little car, but we never did that one.
So, I'm not going to say the rest. I'm going to leave a cliffhanger. I'm going to do this in your class. But then I'm going to have to let you be in the first group. Because now I told the secret, right? So I'm going to let you guys do that. So we'll talk about that. After you do that, we'll talk about what goes on. But the fact of the matter, I was in there talking to one of the professors, and he said, a student will not know what she or he wants to do in life unless she or he knows who she or he is. And I mean, I know that and I kind of say that, but sometimes people say things at a moment and it becomes very profound. You know, like you heard it before, but this time you heard it deeper. And I would say, you know what? He's so right about that, because so much of what I do in the classroom, so much of what we do is to help students figure out who they are. And in that case, as a Christian school, North Park says, you know, not just who you are, but whose are you? You know, so if you belong to God, right, and you know you are there for the purpose. You didn't show up just because, you know, you're cute, right? You show up because there's a purpose. God created you for something. What is that thing that God has created you for? And have you really spent time to think about it and realize it? And if you have not, then it's okay. Welcome. That's part of what we're here to help you figure out. And then after you figure out who you are, and you already know whose you are, then you can say, what do I want to do? How do I want to serve the world with the brilliance that I have? And we have brilliance from these two students. So that is an important thing, and it's amazing. You know, I'm saying that because I hear Terrence say that, you know, kind of North Park really helps you understand who you are. And I mean, a liberal arts education is intended for you to understand that. So since you brought up the question, who are you?
Who am I? Well, I thought we already addressed that a little bit in the beginning.
But tell me again.
You know, but if I had to go a little deeper into like who I am, I believe I am someone who loves to help others. Someone who's, you know, a little shy on trying new things, but once you try something new, most of the time you're gonna enjoy it, because if you didn't like try it, you wouldn't have known in the first place. So,
you see how smart he is? I asked him who he is, and he differentiated with the question of just not who you are. In the beginning, I'm from here and from this, but really, who are you? Meaning, what is your purpose in life, right? Because who we are is defined. I mean, you know your name, you know kind of where you're from, but who you are is based on your purpose. What's your mission in life? What's your vision? The mission is what's the purpose what you're here to do, and the vision is where do you see yourself 2, 3, 4 years down the road, and then you formulate objectives for yourself because you know kind of who you are. This is what I stand for, and then you know your vision where I'm heading, and then you say, well, if this this way I want to head, these are the things that I need to do. So it's good that you're able to, that you decipher and be able to explain. So about Sarah, why did God create you? What are you here to do?
Well, I don't know that yet, but I can tell you a little bit. Do you know what the Enneagram is?
I've heard my students talking about it, and they need to do one. Are you a 4, 6, 8, or 12?
There is no 12, but it's okay. I'm a 9, so
A 9,
if you have time to research it, you should. It's really interesting.
Yeah.
But basically, 9s are considered like the peacemakers.
Oh.
So I, as a 9, like 9s really focus on understanding both sides of everything before they can make a decision for themselves. So I like to see kind of how all of the parts move together and like how what everyone's viewpoint is before I have my own viewpoint to kind of take in all of the information slowly. 9s tend to be slow at making decisions, but they make good decisions because they're slow at it. They don't rush into things. I can be passive and quiet because I like to absorb and just observe what's happening in the world.
Wow, how do you spell that?
I can write it for you.
You can write it for me. So, my students have been saying Enneagram?
Enneagram. It's
Enneagram.
Enneagram.
Enneagram. So I've been hearing students talking about doing an Enneagram, and I have never really entertained doing it.
There's 9 different types.
Then, so can you send me a link to the one you recommend? So I'm gonna.
Well, I don't recommend one. You are one.
Oh, I am one.
Yeah, you have a type. I don't know what your type is.
Oh, so how do you find out?
You read through all of them, and there's no test you can take. There are tests, but it's not like the Myers-Briggs where like you take the test and it tells you what you are. You kind of read them, and one of them will resonate more with you than any other ones.
This is the thing I like most about being a professor. You get to learn so much from the students. The students pay the tuition thinking that they came there to learn. They're probably going to learn something from me, but I learn so much from them, and I try to teach them something back. It's a learning exchange. So you are the 4th president of the Criminal Justice Club. What is that? What does the Criminal Justice Club do?
Well, we do all sorts of things, but our main goal is to kind of introduce students who are interested in criminal justice to different aspects of what that could look like. So whether we bring in like panelists or we go out and volunteer or go do something like an activity to like get to know one another, we just like to kind of see what criminal justice really means and like what it means to be a criminal justice student, and talk to people who are in the field. Or doing different things in the field.
So now, last fall, we were in this meeting together, and there's this guy here. He was not always showing his shiny waves. He had a little bit of headgear. I wouldn't say what kind of headgear he was wearing, right? And then Terrence would come in. Terrence came in to advise him. I said, Terrence, you should try the Criminal Justice Club. I said this to many people, and they said, oh, yeah. But he actually showed up. And then he kept coming to the meeting, and then he took on a challenge. He became the vice president, and a few people would say, Terrence is kind of quiet and all that, and sometimes you probably want someone seeming more aggressive or whatever. And then when the challenge came, he said, I'm not going to back down from a challenge.
Right.
So you are the vice president. First of all, what does a vice president do, and why did you choose that position?
Well, thank you again for asking, St. John.
Yes.
Well, a vice president mostly does everything the president doesn't do, besides for other jobs within organizations. So, but anything that Sarah, feels as if I can do to help out, and anything that's she's too busy to get to it, and I will step in and handle it, or whether we're working together to get something done, or she just give me her ideas and see how it sounds, and before we bring it to the public. So vice president isn't as difficult as the president job, so I give Sarah her props because she does a lot and it's amazing. But it can be a little bit of a handful sometimes, but definitely not the same.
Like the one time I went to the library, and it was good. I was glad to see Sarah take a break. She's doing so much, right? And then Terrence was there during this. I forgot what they called it, but it was a day where we were talking to different majors about criminal justice, and guy was there. He had his table set up, and he was ready to represent. So
our Viking Fair.
Viking Fair. Yeah. So it's very important to have a second in command, that is willing to roll his sleeves up and do the work. Now, you guys are also involved in research.
Yeah.
I understood from a little birdie that you're taking a course in research methods.
How did you know?
I'm not going to tell my sources. And you are doing research. You'll be doing live research in that class. What is your research topic? Is that, first of all, is that true? Are you in a research methods?
Yes, we are.
Who's your professor?
Dr. St. John.
Come on. You're not supposed to tell the people. Well, it's, yeah, so they are students in my methods and social research class. So what are you, tell me about tell the world about the research that you're doing. Your
So
projects.
we are still in very beginning stages of our research, still gathering previous research. But we are trying to study kind of what different perceptions of marijuana use exist on a college campus. So whether that be like the potential harms of it or what people think about it becoming legalized, because it is becoming legalized in January here in Chicago. So that's kind of where we're at with our research right now.
So you want to know how different students perceive the
use of marijuana.
The use of marijuana.
Recreational use.
Recreational use. So are you looking to know if they believe that they agree with the fact that it's going to be legalized, or they disagree?
Right.
And are you looking to understand that across different race, ethnic, age?
Yep, all of them.
All of them. Right. So that's interesting. So how are you going to find that out? Like, how are you going to?
Well, right now we're doing our literature review, so we're gathering previous research, and kind of once we have a better idea of what we need to ask, we're going to send out a questionnaire to students on campus and ask for all of that different information, and then ask different questions that we can kind of understand what their perspectives are.
What are you finding in the literature review? When you read articles about people's perception of whether the marijuana should be legalized recreationally, what are you finding in the literature? What trends?
A lot of what we found so far is that people's perceptions change after it's been legalized, which I found interesting. Some people thought that, like, before it became legalized, that they were either for it or against it, and then afterwards, seeing how little or much of an effect it actually had, they're either like realize that it doesn't make that big of a change, or it made a bigger change than expected.
Why do you think that happened? I mean, you probably don't know inside of their heads, but why would you think, or does the literature suggest, why people's perceptions about whether or not legalization of marijuana is a good thing or not, it changes before the legalization or after the legalization? How do you make sense of that?
I kind of just saw it as people tended to be more against it before it was legal, because they saw it as more of a criminal act and more against the law than when it was legal. Then it was just another recreational activity after it's been legalized.
So, you know, just as someone, I don't want to say as a professor, but just to give you, as a researcher, give you some advice, maybe what you would need to do, I mean, if it would be good to do a study, if you ask your the participant to be part of a longitudinal study, like you ask them now, and it'd be good to ask them, what do you think about people who smoke marijuana?
Right.
And they might say, oh, they're a bunch of criminals, a bunch of whatever, oh, they're good people, whatever they might say. And then after it's legalized, it might be interesting to go back to the same people and ask, what do you think of people who smoke marijuana? Right, because
it
now,
would be interesting, yeah.
right, because now it's, I mean, although they could be smoking it now legally if they have medical license to do so,
right,
but it might still be, you know, a different mentality. So that is really interesting in terms of how the law can really shape how we think about things, right? The legalization status, and it's going to be the same thing. You smoke a blunt, you know, it's either legal or it's illegal, but but it's still that type of issue. Well, I'm looking forward to learning more about this research.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
see where we head with it, and whether or not our direction changes.
But whatever you tell your colleagues who are your fellow students, tell them they don't have to. If they never smoke marijuana, they don't have to start smoking after it's legalized. Okay,
that's true.
Right? And if they started smoking, it's okay to stop. Right? Because there are other ways that they can, whatever they want if they want the medical value of the marijuana, they don't need the THC component of it. So, what is your research on, Terrence?
Thanks for asking again.
Sure.
So my team's research question is, how do students' perception of diversity in faculty at North Park University impact their experience at North Park University?
So what is your own experience in that? So you want to know if students of the different ethnic backgrounds of the students, do they see themselves represented in the faculty of the university, and what impact that has on their college experience? That's right?
Yes, sir.
So what is your experience with that?
Thanks again for asking, St. John. So I'm only a sophomore, so I haven't been at the school for that long. But in my short experience at North Park University, originally I did not see a lot of diversity, but that was also because I didn't leave my room. So you can't see a lot of diversity if you don't leave your room. So when I did come out, I went to clubs and with my professors from my major, which is criminal justice, I did start to see more of a reflection in myself from my professors, and that was nice to see.
Well, it turned out that I happen to be your advisor. So
you are my advisor. So.
And then so beyond that, so that's one glad. I was in class on Monday, and a student walked up and said, "Are you a teacher?" An African-American woman from Chicago. Mm-hmm. I said, "Yes, I'm a professor." She said, "Oh, I never met a black teacher at this university." And I make a long story short, I was happy that the student came up, but there was another student that was with me, which was a white woman that identifies herself as Italian, and she was just glowing because one of the subjects in the class is the same topic that you're doing. And she was so embracing of the student. She was like, "Yeah, because if you came in, it's a diverse school, so you expect it's a diverse faculty." Mm-hmm. To be honest with you, I was a little bit uncomfortable because there's this race issue. She's saying this in front of the white student. I didn't want the student to feel offended, but it was so amazing that the student didn't feel offended at all. The students were like, "Great, good for you, that you can speak up about this." So I look forward to seeing your research as well. Ladies and gentlemen, time flies when you're having fun. Can you imagine? We have already come to the end of the show. It's already 6:26, so we are actually into a minute. We'd like to give some courteous time to the next person, the next group of people who are going to be here at CAN TV. I'm Dr. Peter K.B. St. Jean. Thank you so much for watching. We had the pleasure of having with us from North Park University, double major in sociology and criminal justice, Sarah McKay, and criminal justice major, Terrence Hollis. Thank you. I'm Dr. Peter K.B. St. Jean. I'll see you next week when we speak to Dr. Jack Surridge about fishing. See you next week. Bye-bye.